Hello, it's Liz from Old Stables Crafts. Thank you very much for joining me again today. Today I have got another Team Colour Challenge project for you. The colour challenge this week is Sahara Sand, Seaside Spray and Petal Pink. And I'm pairing these with Beautiful Moments. This is in the annual catalogue. It actually carried over, so we've had it for a wee while. I'm going to be using this stamp, and I have already made a sample. So I've got this is my sample. It's a really simple card. I have used die cuts, but you could cut this just with your trimmer. You don't have to have the die cut, but I have my stamping cut and emboss, so I'm using it. I'm going to start by doing the background because it takes a wee while to dry. So yeah, well, I say that. Actually, I'm going to start by taking my piece of watercolour paper, and this is the Fluid 100 paper. It's a cotton paper. Paper was at one point basically cotton. And I'm actually going to run it through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss before I do anything else with it. And there is a mad reason for this. Well, it's not a mad reason, actually. It's a very sound reason. So this has got a relatively smooth surface. One side is slightly smoother than the other. But I found this out by mistake. Or not by mistake, but without realising that this would happen. Got a bit of smit. My lovely clear plates are no longer lovely and clear. Anyway, so I'm just going to run this through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss a couple of times. I'm going to pop it one way and the other way. And then I'm going to grab another piece and just show you something. So let me take that out and let me grab another piece because I found this out, as I say, purely by accident, or not design, I think is probably the better word. So there's another sheet of the watercolour paper. You may not be able to see it, is the only thing, and it is a little smitty. I probably need to put a piece of copier paper through at the same time. Might have to try that. Anyway, it's much, much smoother now. So this is a really nice smooth surface now. This is, I'm going to just grab a piece of copier paper and see if that makes it even better. So I'm just going to fold this in half, which should then fit through my machine. So I'm actually going to use the piece that hasn't been through yet, and then we can compare between using copier paper and not using copier paper. Obviously a little bit more pressure with the copier paper. Let me grab my machine and wind it through. Yes, it is a little stiffer, it's fine. I'm not having to force it. It probably means I only have to go in one direction, but I will go in both, just so that I know I've given it a really good press. But I know some people don't like the fact that the watercolour paper isn't really smooth. Really smooth watercolour paper is not that common. But let's have a look. So, it's lovely and clean. And yes, it is beautifully smooth. So, it's still as smooth as this one was, but it is beautifully smooth and obviously not got the grubby bits from my plate. So if you want your watercolour paper to be a little smoother, just run it through your die cutting machine. Okay, so having done that, let me pop all that to one side and grab my, oh no, I need to grab my, once upon a time I had a brain. Can I just say that? I don't know where it's gone, but it has gone, well and truly. So I've got my stamp and my ink pad, and I'm just going to ink up my stamp. And I'm going to do this end. This has got, it's got just a tiny mark that I think's in the paper. and it will be covered up by what I do next, so it's fine. So I shall come down a wee bit. Just going to stamp that. Now this is watercolour paper, so it is going to absorb the ink, so you do really need to give it a chance to do that. So there we go, beautifully stamped. And as I say, having been through the die cutter, it's smooth, so really easy to stamp. I'm using for my dies the So Sentimental dies, so the ones that go with the So Sentimental stamp set. So I think they're stitched So Sweetly, something like that, in the annual catalogue. I will list them, don't worry. If I can't remember what they are, it's not a problem, because I will be able to sort that out later. I'm just going to trim this down so that I'm only putting through what I need to put through. So I've got my little piece of watercolour paper. My sandwich is the big plate, number 1, the shim, number 2, a cutting plate, number 3, and another cutting plate, number 3. And I'm popping it through at an angle because it's much happier. A straight edge is much happier to go through, not straight. Otherwise it can be a bit of a kadunk as you go through. And I have found that this cuts perfectly well through watercolour paper. It's not a problem. All comes out really easily. It's a really, really good, solid die cutting machine. So if you're in the market for a new machine, you can either wait until the 1st of September and pay £112 for it, or you can get it now in the starter kit and only pay £99 for it, and then add another £18 onto your starter kit and not pay postage. So the choice is yours. I know which way I would go if I had that choice. Okay, so in fact, if you wait until the 1st of September, we've also then got the Go and Grab, anyway, the recruiting promotion, where you can still put the die cutting machine in your starter kit, still add another £18 of product, and get 2 free stamp sets. Can't remember which ones they are, but they're 2. It's Queen Anne's lace and something else, can't remember which one. And you'll get card and, well, pre-cut card and envelopes to make 8 each of 2 projects. I think that's the right way around. Anyway, you get more stuff, but you can still put the die cut machine in and save money. Just a thought. Okay, so after that, blah, 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 all the details of that are over on my website, so don't worry too much about that. So I'm going to cut this down. It's 5 inches wide, that's the word I'm looking for, and from memory it was 3 1/4 inches wide. Yep, 3 1/4 inches wide I want it, so I'm just going to grab my mini chopper. This is my wobbly edge, so I want 3 1/4 inches. This is 3, this is 3 1/4, so we can line it up. It's got these lovely straight grid lines, so you can line everything up straight and chop. And then I will keep this. One of the things that you need to remember with watercolour paper is it's not white and it's not vanilla, by which I mean white and vanilla. It's neither. So if you're going to use watercolour paper and you want to add a sentiment or something like that, you do need to keep your little bits of watercolour paper so that you can put your sentiment on the same colour paper. Right, I'm going to use my large brush. This is my large water painter brush. It's stained, not dirty, and I want a reasonable amount of water on my watercolour paper, and because I want my colour to run, So pop that back in. And then I've got my Petal Pink and my Seaside Spray. I'm going to use my Petal Pink first, and I'm going to squeeze some ink into the lid. Grab my large but not huge watercolour painter brush, and just add ink to that. Bit more. Now if you want to add more, if you've added water to your lid, as I have, you would need to clean your lid first, so dry it off first. I'm actually perfectly happy with just a small amount of the ink, but you don't want to squeeze a wet base into an ink pad, because you'll dilute the ink on your ink pad. I'm going to need a lot more of the Seaside Spray, and in Europe we don't have re-inkers for the Seaside Spray yet, so I need to just get that out of the ink pad. And then I'm going to grab the same water painter and just going to add a bit more water to my card because it has dried already. It's not actually that warm today, but it's absorbing is part of the problem. And then just add this, and I don't want it to be solid. I want it to be a wash, not a solid colour. It's mostly the outside that I'm concerned about, so this streak, not brilliant, but I don't care because it's not going to be seen. And then again, I've just got this cloth, which I really must put in the washing machine, that I just clean my brush off on. If I'm using a lot of ink, so especially if I'm using a re-inker and it's a really dark colour, I would actually wash my brush nibs just in warm soapy water, nothing special. So yeah, and they do come clean because they are a synthetic fibre. Right, I am going to grab my trusty cheese board, get rid of my wet craft mat, and just heat up my heat gun, and might actually do it on the first setting, if I can get it to the first setting. I so rarely use the first setting, I kind of naturally go past it. While I'm drying this off is a perfect moment to remind you to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Do leave any questions or comments in the comments below the description bar. I'll have a link to the blog post for this project in the description bar, so you can have a look at that without any difficulty. If at the end of the video you would like to hit the like button, I would be very happy for you to do that. It's all about playing with the algorithm. The more people who subscribe, the more people who comment, the more people who give a thumbs up, the more likelihood there is that my videos will be shared to a wider audience. So I would be very, very grateful if you could do that. If you're in the UK and you would like any of these products or any other Stampin' Up products, you can shop at my online store. There's a link below, but also on my website, and I would be thrilled if you would do that. If you use the host code, you get some free product from me, so it's my gift to you, part of my way of saying thank you. But everyone who orders through me online gets a thank you card and a little bit of thank you nonsense. So do have a look at that. I think that's about as dry as I need it to be. Now I just need to grab, and I should have got this out, but I didn't, because why would I do that? I need a piece of Petal Pink card. And I do have a white card blank, because I've just prepped a whole load. So let us fold that in half. So this is just half a sheet of A4. Oh, and I should say, if you're outside, well, no, if you're in North America and you use letter cardstock, so things like A4 will mean nothing to you, I will have the corresponding measurements for North American cardstock on my website. It will be shorter and fatter, which means that when you do this, your die cut, it will be, you won't have this larger area at the bottom. It will be more square. I mean, it's rectangle, but you know what I mean. Anyhow, so let's get this sorted out. So I'm going to adhere my petal pink to my whisper white just with some multi-purpose liquid adhesive. And pop that down there and smooth it out. And then this I'm also going to stick down with liquid adhesive, and I'm going to be quite generous because it is watercolour paper, and although it's reasonably flat now, it's not totally flat, and I would like it a little flatter. So, whoops, I would also like it so that the blue is at the top, pretending to be sky. And this will be square within the piece, so you should have an even border the whole way round. And I'm going to press that from the back and just grab a couple of ink pads or so to help hold that down while I take my piece of die cut and add some dimensionals to the back. So one in the middle and one at each corner. And then we're basically done. How's that for quick? Gosh. Now, do remember, if you're in the UK and would like to order my Have a Hoot card class in the post, details of that will be over on my website. You've got until the end of the month to order that and pay for it. I will send you a PayPal invoice as soon as you order it. Well, more or less as soon as you order it. That is only available for UK addresses, and if you need the stamp set and or bundle, you can let me know and I can add that on for you. So there we go. Isn't that pretty? Really soft colours. So kind of grabbing hold of the back end of summer a little as I stand here looking at the rain pouring from the sky that I'm going to have to go for a run in a moment. Anyway, thank you very much indeed for watching. If you've enjoyed it, as I say, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing if you don't already. Have a fantastic day, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Bye for now.